Alrighty then. Well, hello everybody. Dean the Turkey Legster here. Welcome to Once Upon a Turkey Leg. It is Thursday, the 23rd of 2023, and I've been looking forward to tonight for several weeks. I'm going to be reading from The Mandalorian. And wait a couple minutes and for friends to pop in live. If you are watching live or on the replay, I would apreciado mucho if you would bop the like button and let me know if you're watching. And I go live every Thursday night. This is live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I never know. Usually I don't know what I'm going to read, but I have been planning to read The Mandalorian for several weeks because this next week, next Wednesday, is going to be the start of The Mandalorian Season 3. And I found this book and I am looking forward to reading it for you guys. So I hope your week has gone well. My week has gone pretty well. Florida's a little warm right now. It's not usually normal for February, although I had some memories pop up in my Facebook that apparently there's been a few years past, we've had some warmer weather, like 90 degrees weather around this time. But I'm really hoping that we cool off again before our actual summer happens. Pardon me. So anyway, so tonight, as I mentioned, I am going to be reading The Mandalorian, and coming back in May, if you like Star Wars, I'm going to be doing some more Star Wars reading in May. There'll be a May the 4th stream. I'll need to look and see what day of the week that is. Hey Keith, BDF, welcome in. May the 4th, let me look at that right now. May the 4th falls on a Tuesday. But anyway, I'll figure out what to do with my story stream. Anyway, I'll actually go ahead and start reading this. This book looks a little more involved than some that I've read. So I'm prepared to go a second week if I need to. So I've actually got about the middle point of the book is marked. Oh, hey Tina. Oh, sorry you are not feeling well. Hopefully the child will help make you feel better. And hello to Chuck also. But yeah, I hope you rest well and feel better. So here we go. Here is the child. Grogu. So, without further ado, let us visit the galaxy far, far away. This is, okay, I gotta show this one. I gotta show this. There he is. Grogu. All right, Keith. Hopefully, you check out the replay. Reading The Mandalorian. There will likely be a part 2. I'm not sure. We'll see how much time it takes to read this story. So here we go with The Mandalorian, Volume 1, and this does start on Season 1. So here we go. The Mandalorian. On an icy planet, a masked man followed a tracking fob. This was the Mandalorian, a famed bounty hunter. It was his job to capture people and things for whoever hired him. The tracker beeped. The Mandalorian's next bounty was near. The tracker led the Mandalorian to a cantina where he found who he was looking for, a blue-skinned mithril man. The mithril tried to bribe the Mandalorian, but the Mandalorian just stared at him. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold, the Mandalorian said at last. With his mithril bounty in tow, the Mandalorian made his way to his ship, the Razor Crest. Suddenly, the ice beneath the Mandalorian's feet began to crack. Mando raced for his ship, dragging the mithril with him. But as the ship took off, an icy sea monster called a Ravnak rose out of the water. The Ravnak lunged and caught the Razor Crest in its jaws. Snatching a rifle, the Mandalorian leaned out of the ship and jabbed the weapon at the Ravnak. Electricity surged through the beast's body. The Ravnak loosened its jaw, and the Razor Crest flew away. Oh my goodness. The Mandalorian took the Razor Crest to the planet Navarro. There he met Greef Karga, an important man in the Bounty Hunters Guild, to talk about his next job. Greef offered Mando several bounties, but they were all too small for such a famed hunter. Greef admitted there was one other job he could offer. It would be dangerous, but paid well. Mando took the job. The Mandalorian wound his way through town to meet with his mysterious client. Greef Karga said you were coming, said the client, who would not give his real name. He also said you were expensive. The client showed Mando a pouch. Inside was a single bar of Beskar. Beskar was a valuable metal used to forge Mandalorian armor. The client promised that Mando would get even more Beskar if he found the bounty. Mando accepted a tracking fob that he could use to find the bounty's location and left the client's compound. Mando followed the tracking fob's signal to the planet Arvala 7. He had not been on the planet long when he was attacked by a blurg, a big, strong beast. A second blurg charged the Mandalorian, but before it could join the fight, it fell to the ground, sedated by a dart. A moment later, an Ugnaught riding a third blurg appeared. The Ugnaught introduced himself as Kuil. He offered to help the Mandalorian on his mission. There was just one catch. To reach his bounty, Mando first needed to learn how to ride a blurg. Once the Mandalorian learned how to ride, he and his blurg reached the fortress where the bounty was being kept. But a bounty droid named IG-11 had beaten him there. The fortress's guards began firing on the droid, and IG-11 began firing back. Mando joined the battle, but he and IG-11 were outnumbered. Soon they were backed into a corner. Hey Tim, Tennessee Bear, how are you? They were trapped. Manufacturer's protocol dictates I cannot be captured, said the droid. I must self-destruct. Do not self-destruct, Mando yelled. Cover me. Mando ran for the door to the fortress, while the droid continued firing on the guards. Once the guards were gone, Mando and the droid blew open the door. Hi, Mandy. Welcome in. Yes, you like my Baby Yoda ears? Inside, Mando and the droid found what looked like a floating silver oval. Mando touched a button, and the top opened. A small green being looked out at them. It was just a child. The droid raised its weapon. The commission was quite specific, it said. The asset was to be terminated. Mando was not yet sure who or what this child was, but he was not going to let it die. He fired at the droid, which fell to the ground. His bounty secure, the Mandalorian left the fortress behind. But as he made his way toward the Razor Crest, he was attacked by 3 lizard-like beings called Trandoshans. Mando easily fought them off. To his surprise, he found that one of them had a tracking fob. It seemed that he and IG-11 were not the only bounty hunters looking for the child. The Mandalorian and the child returned to the Razor Crest, only to find a group of Jawas stripping it for parts. Frustrated and angry, Mando chased after the Jawas' sandcrawler. He climbed aboard, but the Jawas blasted him with electricity, and Mando fell from the sandcrawler, unconscious. When he awoke, Mando went to see Kuil. My ship's been destroyed, he said. I'm trapped here. Stripped, not destroyed, Kuil corrected him. Mando could still get back the parts to his ship. Kuil took Mando to the Jawas, who agreed to return the parts to the Mandalorian if he would bring them a prized mudhorn egg. Hmm. The Mandalorian agreed, and the Jawas took him to the cave of the fearsome Mudhorn. Mando cautiously entered the cave. Inside he saw large bones. He heard a low growl, and then he spotted an enormous eye. A moment later, Mando was flying through the air. He landed outside the cave. The large, angry Mudhorn followed. Mando tried to fight off the Mudhorn, but it was too strong for him. Time and again it knocked him to the ground. Then, just as he could take no more, the child raised his hand. The Mudhorn rose into the air, unable to move. Mando took his opportunity. He stabbed the Mudhorn, defeating it. The Mandalorian went into the Mudhorn's cave and retrieved the egg. He took it to the Jawas, who happily cut it open to eat the yolk. With his ship parts returned, Mando set about repairing the Razor Crest with Kuiil's help. Then it was time for Mando to leave. He had a bounty to deliver. Back on the planet Navarro, the Mandalorian took the child to the client. The client gave Mando 20 bars of Beskar. Such a large bounty for such a small package, the client observed. As the scientist took the child away, Mando heard the child start to cry. "What are your plans for it?" Mando asked, but the client would not answer. Is it not the code of the guild that these events are now forgotten? Mm-hmm. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Mando knew the client was right. He took the Beskar and left. He gave the Beskar to the armorer, a fellow Mandalorian who lived in a Mandalorian community. The armorer melted down the Beskar and forged it into new armor for Mando. With the excess, she forged whistling birds, a rare Mandalorian weapon. The Mandalorian knew it was time to move on, to secure his next bounty. But he could not stop thinking about the child's cry. Mando realized he could not leave the child with the client. Mando returned to the client's compound late that night and rescued the child. But as he tried to leave, he was stopped by a group of stormtroopers. Mando set down the child and activated the whistling birds the armorer had made. The unique weapons took out the stormtroopers with small explosions. In the nearby public house, all the bounty hunter tracking fobs began to blink. It meant the child was on the move, and there would be a reward for his return. After the Mandalorian defeated the stormtroopers, he found himself surrounded by Grief's bounty hunters. Each one wanted to claim the child and the reward for their own. Mando fired at the bounty hunters. The bounty hunters shot back. Blaster fire filled the air. Suddenly, Mando heard a noise in the sky. Looking up, he saw the rest of the Mandalorians. They had come to help. "Get out of here. We'll hold them off," one told Mando. "This is the way." Mando raced to his ship and took off as the Mandalorians continued to fight. Mando knew he had to find a safe place to hide with the child. He decided on Sorgon, a farming planet with no spaceports and no busy cities. As the Razor Crest flew overhead, Mando saw a small fishing village. Children played happily in the water, chasing frogs. It was the perfect place to lay low. But laying low wasn't as easy as it seemed. When the Mandalorian entered an evening establishment, he saw a woman watching him suspiciously. The two fought, but neither could get the better of the other, so they gave up. The woman's name was Cara Dune. She was a former rebel and thought Mando was there to collect a bounty on her. "One of us is gonna have to move on, and I was here first," Cara told Mando. Mando sighed. "Well, it looks like this planet is taken," he told the child. That evening, two people from Sorgon approached the Mandalorian. They wanted his help with raiders who were attacking their village. When Mando heard that the people lived in a fishing village in the middle of nowhere, he agreed to help if they would give him and the child a place to stay. Mando asked Cara Dune to come with him to spy on the raiders. They discovered that the raiders had an AT-ST. The AT-ST was a giant walker once used by the Empire. Cara knew they would need a plan to fight something as big as an AT-ST. They would turn one of the fishing ponds into a deep hole. When the AT-ST stepped into it, it would fall and be unable to get back up. For days, the villagers worked to set the trap. Mando and Cara taught them to defend themselves. Finally, it was time. Cara and Mando lured the AT-ST to the fishing village. The raiders surged up behind it, firing their weapons. The villagers fired back. Finally, the AT-ST fell into the water. Mando raced forward and planted an explosive on the ATST. It went off, destroying the walker. With their ATST gone, the raiders fled. The villagers celebrated. They had won. Oh, bless me. That sneeze came out of nowhere. Okay, this is the point where I am going to be stopping for tonight, just so the stream doesn't get too crazy long. So next week, I will be continuing the reading, and we will finish up the story. But here is, oh, hey, Jonathan, how are you? Here is the picture on the next page that we will start with next week of the child. Aw. So anyway, next week is going to be the 2nd of March. And of course, the day before Wednesday, the 1st, will be of course, the launch of season 3 of The Mandalorian. But we will finish this story. I will finish this one next week. So anyway, join me next week at same time, same place, 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. And we'll continue and finish this volume 1 of The Mandalorian. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone watching live and watching on the replay. If you are watching on the replay, let me know down here in the comments down below somewhere, and let me know that you watched the replay. And I look forward to hopefully catching you live in the chat next week, and on any Thursday for a fun story here on Once Upon a Turkey Leg. Also next Tuesday on the 28th, my bi-weekly stream, Let's Talk Turkey, will be at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, and I'm going to be starting a series on there called Disney According to Dean. Part 1 is the Magic Kingdom, talking about my favorite things in the Magic Kingdom, what the perfect day in the park would look like for me. So tune in and hear all about it. There might be some turkey leg talk. Just saying. So with that, have a great night, everyone. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next time. Take care. And may the Force be with you. This is the way I have spoken.